Welcome to Booming Mentality, the place where champions are made in the mind before they win on the field. Here we dive deep into the mindset, discipline, and resilience that turn ordinary people into legends. If you are serious about pushing your limits, about training your brain like an athlete and living with unstoppable energy, then you are in the right spot. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and ring the bell, because every week we bring you powerful stories and lessons that will keep your fire burning. And stay with me until the end of this video, because I promise you a mentality moment from the Olympic Games of Paris 2024 that will give you goosebumps and change the way you look at challenges forever. Let's jump right in. The Olympic Games of 2024 in Paris were not just about medals, records, or breathtaking performances. They were about something far deeper, something invisible but undeniably powerful: the strength of the human mind. Every 4 years we are reminded that the Olympics are not only a stage for physical excellence, but also for mental battles. It is not just the strongest legs, the fastest arms, or the most explosive muscles that determine victory. It is the voice inside the athlete's head, the mindset that says keep going when the body screams to stop, the discipline that keeps someone training through years of setbacks, and the resilience that allows a person to rise again after failure. In this video, we will relive the greatest mentality moments of Paris 2024. Stories of athletes who proved that champions are made not only in the gym, but most of all in the mind. Let me take you back to those magical weeks in Paris. The entire world was watching. Millions of eyes were glued to the screens, and in the stadiums the air was electric with anticipation. Every athlete knew one slip, one hesitation, and years of preparation could vanish in an instant. And yet, in those moments of pressure, some athletes showed the kind of mental toughness that makes legends. Today, we will journey through those unforgettable stories. And as we do, I invite you to think about your own life. Because the truth is, the same mental strength that wins Olympic gold is the same strength that helps you overcome challenges in your everyday world. Whether you are facing exams, building a career, recovering from setbacks, or chasing a dream, you will find lessons in these moments that can transform your mentality. Let us begin with the marathon. The marathon has always been the ultimate test of endurance, both physical and mental. Paris gave us one of the most inspiring marathon races in Olympic history. The conditions were brutal. Heavy rain poured down for hours, soaking every runner to the bone. The course became slippery, the air chilled the muscles, and the pounding of feet on wet pavement echoed like a drumbeat of suffering. Imagine running 42 kilometers under those conditions. Every step becomes heavier, every breath sharper, and the thought of quitting whispers louder with each passing minute. Yet one runner, let us call him the embodiment of perseverance, pressed on. He was not leading from the start. In fact, at one point he fell behind, almost out of contention. But he refused to surrender. With each kilometer, his face told a story of pain, but his eyes told a story of determination. And in the final stretch, when most of the competitors had already broken, he surged forward with incredible willpower. He crossed the line victorious, not because his body was the freshest, but because his mind refused to break. That race taught us that sometimes the weather will be against you, the conditions will not be fair, and your body will plead for mercy. But if you train your mind to keep moving forward, you can conquer storms both on the road and in life. Just as he endured the rain, you can endure the hard seasons of your journey, knowing that every step brings you closer to your goal. Now let us shift to gymnastics, where the line between success and failure is razor thin. In Paris, we witnessed a story of resilience that will be remembered for decades. A young gymnast, competing in front of thousands of spectators and millions watching worldwide, attempted a complex routine. Halfway through, she slipped. The crowd gasped, the commentators held their breath, and for a moment it looked like her Olympic dream had shattered. Many athletes, after such a mistake, collapse under the weight of disappointment. The shame, the fear of judgment, the echo of failure can paralyze even the strongest performer. But not her. She stood back up, walked to the starting line once again, and delivered a flawless performance. Every movement precise, every jump controlled, every landing secure. The arena erupted in applause. She did not win gold that night, but she won something far greater: respect, admiration, and a permanent place in the hearts of everyone who believes in resilience. Her story reminds us that mistakes do not define us. Falling is not the end. What defines us is whether we choose to rise again. In life, just like in gymnastics, you will stumble, you will fall. But if you stand back up and give your best once more, you will inspire others and yourself with the courage to continue. From gymnastics, we move to football, the women's tournament that brought one of the most nerve-wracking moments of the games. Imagine standing in a stadium filled with tens of thousands of people. Millions more are watching live on television. The score is tied. It all comes down to a penalty shootout. You walk towards the penalty spot, the ball at your feet, the weight of your nation on your shoulders. Your heartbeat echoes louder than the crowd. One mistake, and you could become the villain. One success, and you are a hero. In Paris, one goalkeeper became the definition of nerves of steel. With ice in her veins, she faced the penalties, guessing the direction, diving full stretch, and saving shot after shot. Her composure was unshakable. On the other side, one striker who had missed a penalty earlier was chosen to step up again. Most would crumble under the pressure of their previous failure. But she faced the ball, ignored the noise, and buried it into the net with perfect precision. These moments reminded us that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear, hearing the doubts, and still stepping forward. And I ask you, would you have the nerves to take that shot, knowing the entire world is watching? That is the essence of mentality, acting despite fear. Another unforgettable chapter of Paris 2024 was the comeback stories. There is something deeply moving about athletes who fight their way back from injuries. One runner had been sidelined for over a year with a severe leg injury. Doctors doubted she would ever compete at the highest level again. The rehab was long, lonely, and filled with pain. Every day she had to push through exercises that hurt, with no guarantee of success. But she believed. She trained. She refused to let injury define her. And when she finally returned to the track in Paris, she not only competed, she won a medal. The tears in her eyes as she crossed the finish line told the world that perseverance pays off. Her journey was not about the medal, but about proving to herself and to everyone that she could rise after being broken. This is a universal lesson. In life, you will face setbacks that may feel like injuries to your dreams. People will doubt you. But if you keep working, keep believing, and keep showing up, your comeback can be greater than your setback. And then, of course, there was my personal favorite mentality moment of the games. Among all the stories, one stood above the rest. It was not the most glamorous, not the most publicized, but it was raw, emotional, and unforgettable. It was the story of an athlete who had no realistic chance of winning a medal. They were not the fastest, not the strongest, and not the most decorated. Yet when their race seemed lost, when exhaustion made every step look impossible, they kept going. Long after the winners had crossed the line, they still ran. The stadium began to notice. The crowd started to cheer. And when that athlete finally finished, the ovation was louder than for the gold medalist. Why? Because the world recognized that mentality is not only about winning, it is about finishing what you started. Sometimes the greatest victory is simply refusing to quit. That, to me, was the purest demonstration of the Olympic spirit. So what do these stories teach us? They show us that success begins in the mind. Muscles will fail, talent will fade, and conditions will never be perfect. But your mindset is the key that unlocks resilience, discipline, and courage. Paris 2024 gave us a masterclass in mental strength. From the marathon runner who conquered the storm, to the gymnast who rose after falling, to the football players who faced ultimate pressure, to the injured athletes who returned stronger, and to the everyday hero who refused to quit, we saw proof that mentality creates legends. Now I want to turn the question to you. Which of these moments inspired you the most? Which one spoke to your heart and made you reflect on your own challenges? Share it in the comments below. Your perspective matters, and your story might motivate someone else who needs a boost of courage today. And if this video gave you even a spark of motivation, then please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell. Because here at Booming Mentality, We believe in feeding your mind with stories that remind you of your true potential. Let us wrap this up with a reminder. Life is not always fair. You will face storms like the marathon runner. You will stumble like the gymnast. You will feel pressure like the football player. You may be injured in body or in spirit like the comeback athlete. And sometimes you may not even be close to winning, like the runner who finished last. But in every case, your mentality will decide whether you stop or continue. Choose to continue. Choose to rise. Choose to finish. That is what makes champions. That is what makes legends. And that is what builds the booming mentality that will carry you to your own victories.